It's fantastic.
It's okay. It's a necessary sacrifice for the next Euro to be won.
Yes, of course, of course. We have to sacrifice ourselves to the next youth workers, next generation. Next generation you. Ele, allora funziona? Tutto a posto?
Sì, sì, mi è arrivato tutto e ho visualizzato anche i corsi, sono riuscita a entrare anche diciamo nel Circle Project della dashboard, quindi tutto ok, li visualizzo, tutto tranquillo.
Bene. Okay. Error coming.
No?
Hello, Nicolas. Fabiola, Nini, Nicolas and Nicolas. Julius, just one thing before moving in the 3 rooms, I will send to everybody the link of Padlet and the presentation of the case study. So all participants can also have both the link and the PowerPoint presentation before moving in the 4 rooms, in the 3 rooms. Okay?
So you'll send them
before moving in the 3 rooms.
Okay, okay, that's good.
Yeah. Maybe now.
No, because no, the people are coming. It's better that we start and then later. At any moment I can send. Okay, as usual, put the letters of your country and your name. Thank you.
Yeah, umeja wifi yenu hore chini chamba. Natumia hii wifi.
Recording in progress.
Hello to everybody. Welcome, welcome. Ciao Rocco, hola Diana, hola Jesus,
Ciao.
hola Peter, ciao
Hola, hola.
Marcello, ciao Fede, ciao Roberta.
Hi.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hello everybody. Kalispera Michalis. Hola
Kalispera.
Juan. Hola Tocayo.
Hello, hello.
Hola, Tocayo. Good to see you. Good to see you, everyone.
Okay, Julius, I think that we can wait other 2 minutes at least, and then we start. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Because because they are missing a lot. So yes, we can wait.
It's fine. It's fine. Better repeat that again.
Okay, and so I think that we can start. Maybe other youth workers will join the webinar. So today is the webinar number 3 about the handicraft sector. So Julius is we want to hear your voice, and thank you so much. Thank you everybody. Good work. Julius.
Mute.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
Super. So thank you everyone, and I take this opportunity to welcome all of you to our 3rd webinar. And this webinar is going to be conducted by Julius Queer, representing Kipepeo Community Empowerment Program, which is a partner in the project. And our topic of discussion today is about handicraft sector. So we shall be looking upon handicraft sector as one of the components of the project cycle that we are currently implementing. So I'll be able to take you through the process. Then we shall also be able to divide you into 3 rooms, whereby we shall give you a task to look upon and come up with some possible solutions. And we shall be having one of you who will be making a summary. Then you shall also come to the main room, whereby one of you also will make a presentation. Then all of us, we shall be able to look upon it and make some additions, or if there will be anything that any member from the group will want to contribute, at the end, we shall all contribute on it. So that's how our program is going to look like. To begin everything, I'll just kindly request each and every one of you in this webinar to mention his name. But before you mention your name, I want you to look on the first letter of your name. For example, Alma, that is your first letter is A. So I want you to get an adjective that describes you, that fits you, that starts with the letter A, then you add your name. For example, somebody is called Simon. So his adjective will be symbol Simon. Something like that. So we'll be going around just also to familiarize ourselves with each other, and also as a one way to create teamwork as we begin our topic today of handicraft sector. So welcome. We'll begin with the Italy team.
Okay. Okay, I can start. Okay, I am authentic Antonio.
Super. Next, authentic Antonio.
Eleonora.
Okay, I'm extrovert Eleonora.
Next.
Hello, everybody. I'm friendly Federico.
Okay, I will go.
Yes.
I'm active Alessio.
Super. Next.
Hello, I am kindly Fabiola.
Hello, I am romantic Valentino.
Next.
You have to use the first letter of your name.
The first letter of your name.
Okay, I missed
The
the
first
point.
letter of your first name.
I can use romantic in this regard. So.
Romantic Rocco. Marcello.
Hello, I am Mysterious and Marcello.
Emilio?
Hello, I am Empathetic Emilio.
Okay.
Are we done with the Italy team?
Michela?
Hello, I'm Magic Michela.
And I'm Valid Valentino.
Okay, now we go to Greece team.
Okay, there are many people with A, so they took all the words. So I am awful Alex.
Hello, I am Majestic Michalis.
Maria?
Hi.
Ernie?
It's okay. I am enthusiastic Irini.
Hello, everybody. I'm Natural Nicholas.
Hello, I'm excited, Eleni.
Next,
Maria,
next.
Isaac.
Hello, I'm Smiley Luz.
No, María de Grecia. Grecia.
Hello, everyone. I cannot really find the word.
I'm gonna say marvelous, Maria.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Marvelous Maria.
Marvelous Maria.
I will say Mad Mary because I can't really find anything else.
Miracle Mary.
And I will say incredible Isaac.
Okay.
Okay, who is missing?
Mexico.
Mexico.
Okay.
Everyone.
Okay.
I'm Carlos, Curious Carlos.
I'm Lorena. I'm Lucky Lorena.
Okay, everyone. I'm Antonio as in able.
Hi, I'm Alma. I'm Active.
Hi, I am Tiana. Is Darling.
Luz?
I'm Smiley Luz. Sorry.
Ivan?
Hi, I am Idealistic Ivan.
Hi, I'm Joker Jesus.
Okay.
I am Batman.
So we are done with the Mexico.
Yes.
We go to
Kenya.
Yeah, we go to Kenya now. Kenya, the host of today's meeting. Nicholas, are you there?
I am Notorious Nicola.
Peter. Peter, have you said? Laura? Maureen? Yeah, I think we shall move on. It's like my Kenyan.
Maybe there is some technical problem.
Yeah, there's technical problem at their end. They cannot be able to join.
Don't worry, it's okay. It's okay. We can
so we shall move forward in case they come a long way. We are going to admit them in the meeting.
Okay. Yes.
So thank you everyone for the introduction. I hope we can remember each other's name so that we can build the our network from now onwards towards other programs of the project. So now I'm going to take you through the presentation of the handcraft sector. And our presentation is going to be based on the people of the Maasai. I know in your countries you have heard of the Maasai people, the Maasai communities. They are very much famous all over the world because of their culture, their tradition, and also of their handcraft and also tourism in their area, their community. So we are going to analyze the handcraft sector in that community, how they do it, how they have been doing for very many years, and see some possible solutions that we shall be able to come out with them later on in our case study. So I'll be able to share with you my screen so that we are able to follow and see everything. Are you able to see it?
Yes.
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 So our number 3 module is handicraft sector under cycle project, and the flags down there, they represent the partners of the project. You have Italy, Kenya, Greece, and Mexico. Those are the partners in the project. Then we start by looking on the handcraft. All of you, I'm sure you have come across handcraft, or in your life you have been able to use something referred to as handcraft. So according to Lee L in 209, handcraft is an eminently human activity developed to satisfy the different needs of daily life using natural resources that are generally native to the place. So you're just using resources that are available in that local community. And Torres also define it as the productive activity of handmade objects with the help of simple instruments. Those are just simple local things that are available within that community. So the objects can be utilitarian or decorative, traditional or recently invented. A popular handcraft is traditional linked to needs, festivities, popular taste, or rituals. For Africans, many communities, they don't normally do rituals, and for them to carry out rituals, they need some of these handcrafts. And some people use them for decorative, for pleasure in their houses, but also others use them directly as their supportive instruments. One just a picture of a handcraft is here, like this is a necklace. This necklace is with the flag of Kenya. So this is one of the examples of handcraft, a handmade item. They come in different forms. You can find maybe it's a cloth, it is an earring or a necklace. This one is the bundle, it's weared on the hand. So they come in different forms. They also have drums for traditional purposes. Those are some of the things that are made locally within the Maasai community of Kenya. So as we analyze the topic of handcraft sector, we are going to look into 5 axes. These are axes that represent the handcraft sector, or they represent the generation of handcraft sector within the Maasai community. So the number 1, it is a knowledge that has been inherited and responds to the needs of the community. So handcraft, it is something that is passed on from one generation to another generation. So the people, elders in this community, Maasai community, they ensure that the knowledge they have, they pass to the young generation by starting to train them on the making of handcrafts or ornaments at a very young age. Like young girls are being trained at the age of 9 years, 8 years, 10 years. By 14, they are able to run the process of making handcraft from the start up to the end. Then this knowledge, they also trained to ensure they pass it to the other generations. Then we have a form of social organizational based on association and cooperatives. So in the Maasai, people live in what we call manyatas. Manyata is like a communal living. They make their houses round, then they have one entrance, and you can find even 30 families living in that circle of the manyata, with the small houses in, and the animals are kept at the center. So when they are doing their communal work of beads making, they are making it as a community. They even have a market stand. That market stand is for selling the products of the manyata, which is the community, the family they are living in. So in one essence, handcraft is one of the things that support the building of the social organization of the Maasai community while they are living in their manyata. It also forms the sense of belonging and social cohesion of the family and the community. So handcrafts bring them together because for these families to be able to carry out their activities, for example, they have what we call initiations, or young boys are taken through transition from young childhood to adulthood, there are a number of handcrafts which they are supposed to wear. Even for ladies, before they are married, they got a number of handcrafts they use to wear. So when they get married, they also switch. So people are able to identify it. For the other people, the modern world, we use like they use the ring. So the handcrafts play a very big role in creating a sense of belonging to the Maasai people. In fact, if you walk in many of the cities of Kenya, you'll be able to identify this is a Maasai and this is not a Maasai because of their sense of belonging, which is characterized by the use of handcraft. Also for cultural heritage, way of expression and creativity, to preserve their culture. Actually, globally, Maasai people, they are the most people who still uphold their culture. Other communities, our culture is partially eroded because we want to have a balance or a mix of the other people's culture. But for the Maasai, they constantly stick to their culture, whether they mix and mingle with the rest of the communities in Kenya or even outside the Kenya, they stick to their culture and they maintain it. And the handcraft is one of the key components that helps the Maasai people maintain and nurture their culture, which is also passed from one generation to another generation. Unlike other tribes who don't even pass information of their cultural values, cultural heritage to the young generation, but for the Maasai people is a key component. Young people are taken through trainings and education, which ensures that their culture is passed on from one generation to another generation. And handcraft is one of the key components because they have even a sword. They work with a sword, and that sword, they make it, they design it themselves. Also, the last item is a symbolic support of customs, beliefs, rituals, way of life, and identity. For identification, you are able to identify the Maasai people. In fact, they use what we call shukas. They just tie around themselves. They don't wear normal clothes. That's what they use. Then their shoes are made from tiles. Then their ears are pierced. Then they have earrings on them. They have big necklaces. They have bangles. They got something to define themselves and promote their culture based on handcraft. So it is one way of symbolic support of their customs because that's what they believe in, that's what define them, and they ensure they uphold it. They also normally have rituals that people undergo, like when they are changing from childhood to adulthood. Before, they used to go to the forest or the national park to kill a lion, but the government blocked that issue because young people are given swords, spears. They must bring the skin of a lion or the head of a lion. So they have to go and kill a lion, and the government was against that one. So they have now changed their rituals because that was their main ritual. Now they go spend in the forest for a month, for 3 months, doing their rituals. Then people become adults. And when they get out, they got handcrafts, which are able to give them identity that they are not young people anymore. So we also look on the handcraft and the community development. So handcraft sector is one of the most significant activities for local development in that area, due to that it provides economic income by generating employment for the most vulnerable sectors of the society. Most of the Maasai people will find the livelihood is tourism, and that tourism, the tourists buy these handcraft items they are making. The second one is based on the social and environmental sustainable practices because they don't involve like big machines. In fact, they use simple tools which they are able to create on their own while they are designing. So it doesn't have any environmental issues or affecting the environment where people are living. It generates a use value, and with the surplus, it produces an exchange value. So you are able to use the tools they produce. And when I talk about exchange value, it is in terms of cash, in terms of money. People get money because of that. It conserves and preserves the culture of a place and reinforces its sense of identity. For Maasai community, if you just see, if you go to Maasai land, you'll just see the way they dress, you'll see the handcrafts, then you will know you are in a total different place because they are totally defined by the handcraft which they are being created within their community. So in summary on the community development with the handcraft is that handcraft play a very vital role in the livelihood of the Maasai community, because tourism, they live within the circuit of tourism, that is the Masai Mara. But Masai Mara National Reserve or National Park is 100% controlled by the government. So for them, they can only be tour guides. That's how they can benefit. They can only sell the handcraft, the people who are coming to receive the services of the national park. That's how they benefit, but there's no any other beneficial thing they derive. So handcrafts plays a very vital role to ensure that they are able to meet their livelihood needs, get foods on their table, and now they are even trying to take their kids to school, because before it was only traditional education, whereby it is passed from one generation to another generation. But handcraft sector is now giving them some income so that they are able to meet some of their conventional needs, like getting a conventional education. So generally, traditional handcraft has been systematically excluded from economic indicators since they are not considered as a productive sector that contributes to the GDP of such. There is the idea that it is only a complement to the family economy and not a way of life. And that's why when people are computing the GDP of a given nation, even in Kenya, handcraft sector is not included in it, because one, they are not able to measure it. They have not even placed in their resources, their efforts, so that they are able to identify how is it flowing. It is just open field, open place, a place where any player can get in and get their products to the market and get money and be able to meet their level of needs. So however, the impact of the handcraft activity on the local community development comes from the role of the craftsman in his community by preserving and transmitting traditions, generating self-employment, and contributing to the local economy with their work. Right now, the Maasai land is trying to rise. Before, it wasn't that easy. Of course, they still go through challenges, a lot of challenges, but with the handcraft, they are able to meet their needs, which is basic needs, which is like getting food on the table, and even taking their children now to school, and even to be able to repair their manyatas because they still live in their traditional houses. So this handcraft sector is playing a very vital role, and it is a value addition to the tourism, because for people who are going for tourism in Masai Mara, it is never complete unless they interact with the Maasai people. And interacting with the Maasai people, one of the points where they interact with the Maasai people is through handcraft sector, by getting handcrafts, because majority want to go back with the souvenirs. They want to show their families they have been to Kenya, they have been to Masai Mara community, they have been to Masai Mara, they have been to Maasai community. And one thing that will prove that, just not only pictures, because pictures you can get them even on the internet, but it's having something practical, like a handcraft that you can go show to your family or give as a present. And that one has also helped a lot to ensure that these families got a source of livelihood to support them and to enable them be in a position to meet their livelihood needs. So that's what it goes to handcraft and tourism, because they're linked. There's no way you can separate them. Actually, tourists are the major players or major people who are supporting the Maasai community by purchasing the handcraft items they are producing. For community development, tourism is considered a determining element for the economic benefit of artisan communities. The acquisition of handcraft is a factor to consider for tourism, that like to appropriate popular expressions. That is just an example from Riverian. So in the tourist, the contribution of artisan is equivalent to 4% of the GDP of the tourist sector. So for the tourist sector, because tourist is being computed into the GDP of nations, even in Kenya, but in that GDP that tourism contributes, 4% is contributed by handcraft, because tourism is not completed by not having handicraft. So handicraft, they complement it. And that's why we say it is a key element that helps growth of Kenyan economy, even the GDP. And handicraft needs to be given priority because it is supporting a large number of local communities who are dependent on these handicrafts. So handicrafts are part of tangible cultural heritage of all nations. I believe in every nation there is a handicraft that is being produced. It might be unique to a given community, but at least there is something that somebody can be able to identify. This one came from community A in this nation. This one came from community B in this country. So this cultural component can lead to economic development. Many countries considering the handicrafts as the main core in tourism development establish the tourism facilities near the main handicraft production centers. Some try to show their originality and identity by offering products made through combination of their national symbols with their handicrafts. People are trying to be creative, and especially some governments are realizing that tourist is linked to handicraft, and therefore where handicraft is being produced, they'll come and provide some facilities there to support the tourist sector. For example, provide accommodation or cafes, a place where people can just refresh and enjoy parks. So those one, they complement the handicraft sector. And also they are designing handicrafts based on the national symbols. People coming with the maybe national animals, flags, just like the way I was showing you. This is a handicraft that is made by the Maasai people. And it represents the flag of Kenya, having black, white, red, and green colors. This is a flag of Kenya, this Kenyan flag. So when I wear this one, I feel the prestige and pride of being a Kenyan. So handicrafts play a vital role to also support and promote citizenship and loyalty to the people's countries, which is one of the key components of sustainable development. So there are also many problems between the tourist sector and the handicraft sector, usually in the planning and the management of destinations, routes, and tourist circuits. The actors of the handicraft sector do not participate. And that one also do happen, especially in Masai Mara. We find the government closes some roads. I've seen some roads being closed because they don't want people to follow the same. While those roads, they lead to Masai Manyatas, or they lead to the place where these Masai are producing their handicraft. So changing such a scenarios or changing the fiscal facilities on the ground also do affect the handicraft sector. The artisanal sector is considered as a component of artisanal sector chain, but does not have the opportunity to actively influence decision making. Actually, all these people, like the Maasai community, are not involved in decision making of what is happening. That's why there has been always conflict between the Maasai community and the animals of the Maasai Mara, because they have the animals. They want to graze their animals in the park, and the government doesn't want to allow. So there is always that conflicting because they are not allowed in any decision making. It's made at the top by the leadership, by the political structure, and the policies are brought down for implementation. So in various tourist destinations, both sectors work independently. Actually, people are doing their own things, their own stuffs. The Maasai people, they have to struggle to find their space. That's why you find even at the entrance of the Maasai National Reserve, the Maasai people are just sitting, they normally sit on the road outside the gate selling their stuff. They haven't been allocated space where they can be able to sell, display their products, their wares, and sell effectively. So you find each and everyone is doing their own things independently. In tourist destinations, there is little reliable and official information on the various craft products, their type of production or processing, demanded by visitors, among others. Actually, there's no data existing about the handicraft sector in the Maasai community or in Kenya in general, and I believe it cuts across other countries as well. So even somebody, if you want to buy a product, you don't know where we can get it, and even the quantity and the quality, there's no anything documented about it. There's no official information about various craft products that are being produced within the Maasai community in this case. So what we find on the internet is what tourists go back, make their blogs and share, or people coming up with their own independent organization to come and share, but there's no proper organization that can be able to display that these handicrafts are produced in this area, they look like this, they are available, we can supply to you when, where, and like that. So those are some of the things of the challenges the handicraft sector goes through within the Maasai community. So handicraft sustainability and youth participation. When you talk about handicraft, you also look on the young generation, especially the Maasai community. They are not that educated. They don't go to school. Only a few little number right now they are going to school, but the majority, they based on the communal education, learning about their culture, their tradition, their rituals, their customs. That's what they learn about. So when you talk about sustainability and youth participation, it's about those young people from those communities being involved in the handicraft sector production so that they are able to ensure that it regenerates and goes to support the future generation by passing the same information from themselves, from the older people currently to the future generation. So handicraft sector is a different element that can effectively contribute to local economy based on a solid environment and social principles, being a type of activity based on the link between culture with ecology and society with nature, and can represent an example of how the promotion of the sustainability of the forms of production can be integrated. So basically, handicraft is being linked on the culture with ecology, that is the environment, then societal value of society. So it is being defined by the culture of people, by the environment people are living in, and the society that future generation needs to build, or a community needs to build, to ensure that they pass information from one generation to another. And young people plays a very vital role to ensure that this information is passed from one generation to another generation. So the handicraft industry faces a series of challenges in terms of sustainability, preservation of identity, continuity, and innovation. There is also a number of challenges that is facing the Maasai people because of a lot of restriction. For example, in the Maasai Mara and the Maasai community, the Maasai people are now getting out. They are bold enough, so they're being taken as security guards. In most homes, we find that the security guard is a Maasai person taken from the Maasai because they are bold, they can stay outside, guard the compounds. So there's also the fear that the culture might be lost because there's a big disconnection between these people who live in the cultural community of the Maasai to come to other areas seeking greener pasture, seeking to change their life, seeking a way to make money. So that is also one of the challenges currently facing the sustainability. And when you talk about preservation of identity, it's like the communities are also being intruded by outsiders, people with different cultures, and trying to influence them. Like, if you want us to support your kids to go to school, you must follow our values. You must do things the way you want them to be done. So you find that in one way it's trying to erode their cultural value. So in many parts of the world, some traditional practices have abandoned their principles of environment care and have been transformed into activities that negatively impact the local context, since there is an exploitation of resources, use of toxic products that cause pollution and negative effect on health. So people try to exaggerate the production of this handcraft and then produce products that doesn't meet the environmental quality and standards, hence affecting our environment, both here in Kenya, in the Maasai community, and also outside the Kenya community in other countries. We have seen some handcrafts made from China. They look like the Maasai products, and they're coming to market, they're being sold. So they have come to erode the cultural value of the Maasai community. So handcraft produced in the local communities has become, in some cases, in the marketing products with the only intention of selling superficial items to tourists, exploiting culture and losing its roots in cultural heritage. So people just come there to sell. Everybody's selling, but not looking upon the culture of the Maasai. Because when you sell this handcraft, we are not only just making money or selling the product, it is also by showcasing the culture of the Maasai people to the rest of the world. Many young people belonging to vulnerable communities must leave their places of origin to look for jobs in the cities due to the fact that there is no solid development of the handcraft sector in their local context. Yeah, that's why they are seeking like to be watchmen, to be security guards, to do all kind of stuff. So the key thing, young people need to join the global world where technology's progress breaks into all other product sectors. But they leave their artisan sector further behind each day, which causes a lack of interest in them and the abandonment of tradition. Actually, in the Maasai land, we'll find the people who are doing handcraft production, majority of them, they are women. Young boys, young men, they are trying to get out so they can find green pasture. They want to go with the world. They want to go with the generation, the current generation. So they are abandoning their culture. And when they do that, there's a possibility their culture might not continue for maybe 100 years to come. There will be a total erosion of their culture. So those are some of the things that when we talk about sustainability, if young people are included, the inclusion will add value and ensure that there is sustainable cultural values being moved from one generation to another generation. So handcraft sector can be a strategy for development of responsible tourism activity in which especially young people as the most dynamic and innovative part of the community, in addition to finding concrete employment opportunities, have the possibility to express their authenticity, creativity, and innovative spirit in creation and implementation of youth-led initiatives aimed at promoting the local heritage, the identity, culture, and tradition of their communities through a balanced environmental, social, and cultural approach. So this is the best strategy that can ensure there is a responsible tourism in these all areas so that young people can be able to carry it forward to the next generation and be able to preserve their culture, the environment, and the social concept, which brings harmony, peace in various communities globally. So that was my presentation about handicraft sector in the Maasai community. That is that we are going to look upon is one of the topics in our project cycle. So now we are going to get the opportunity to move into various rooms, and these groups in these rooms,
Julius,
we are going to.
Julius, just one thing. Before moving in the three rooms, I'm going to send to everybody. So it's important that everybody download the presentation that I'm going to send them, and to copy the link of Padlet that I am sending. So this is for everybody. And before moving, without showing the presentation, but if you can just inform very briefly a little bit about the Maasai community in general. So which kind of community is, and which kind of artisanal traditions we can find. Just a few minutes, just one minute, and in this moment I send to everybody the presentation.
Thank you, Antonio. The Maasai community is a typically local community that has hinged to its culture. They live in the Maasai region of Kenya, near the national park, and that's Maasai Mara, and they spread even to other parts of Tanzania, just around the park, because their main source of livelihood, the economic activity is herding. They breed animals, because the area is so harsh, so dry. It rains only once, sometimes it floods. So the only thing economic activity they are doing is raising lots of animals, sheep, goats. That's their main source of livelihood. And they consume the milk, the meat from those animals they raise. And they live in Manyata. These are like small houses. They make a circle with one door entrance. Then they have a chief. That chief is the leader of the Manyata. So you have somebody who is the chief. Every Manyata has a chief. The chief is the person who is the leader. So every command, everything goes through him, then he shares the people. He's the one who calls the meeting. Then people come discuss. Then in the Maasai also, they marry many wives. That is polygamy. They have, you find somebody 3, 4, 5 wives in this same manyatas where they are living in. Also in the Maasai community, the houses are built by women, not men. Women build those houses. When you get married, you go look for the woods, you are shown a space, you put your own house. The role of the man is to take care of the animals, to ensure the animals have fed and brought them back and provide for food. But house is a responsibility of a woman, which is totally different from different cultures. That's how it works within their community. Then everything they do together as a single unit. When they make food, they share, so no one will sleep hungry. If you don't have milk, my cow has a milk, they will share that milk. So they totally do everything in a very communal way. The way of dressing, it is through what we call shuka. It's just something they put around themselves. That's their dress. Then they use shoes made from tires of a vehicle. So their major staple food is beef and milk. They try to eat other food, but if you give a Maasai beef and milk, he will be your friend. So that is in brief. You will find more details in the case study. We are going to send it to you, and Antonio said is going to send over to you. Then look upon that case study. At the end of the case study, we have a few questions that we want you to be able to analyze within your groups. Then you will come up with some solutions. And one of you is going to make a presentation when we come back in the main room. Thereafter, we are also going to make a conclusion from the same.
Okay, thank you so much, Julius. So we move in the 3 rooms. I ask to Valentino to send all participants, and we come back in 20 minutes.
Okay, one moment.
Okay, just one thing to the
Antonio, 30 minutes, no? At 9.
25. So we have 20 minutes in final.
Okay.
Okay, just one brief explanation. When we move we will work in 3 national-based groups. So one for Mexican, one for Greece, and one for Italians. In these 3 groups, you will work with the youth workers from Kenya. In this case, they will be like the guide for this kind of discussion, but above all, to develop your solutions and proposal, you have to make questions to them. It's important to understand this best practice of Maasai, and you can understand better with through their explanation. So please make questions and try to develop with them, guided by them. So in this case, we, the facilitators, we are just some people just to make easier the discussion, but you are required to work hardly and during the next 25 minutes. In the first 5 minutes, please watch the presentation.
Γεια σας, γεια σας. Hello, Peter.
Γεια σας.
Hi.
Hello, Peter.
How are you?
Good. You are with the Greek team now.
Okay, thank you so much.
We don't have any alcohol to give you, you know, like we do to guests.
In Kenya, we take tea. We say tea time is every time.
Okay.
So we like taking tea.
So is everybody here?
Everybody's good. We are doing well.
Yes, here we are.
How is Greece?
It's good. It's good. Some of us are inside our houses, but it's good. How is in Kenya?
Kenya is good. It's currently raining.
Okay.
Yeah, it has been raining for the last few weeks. We thank God for that, but you are doing well.
Good, good.
Yes.
So for the beginning, we will look at the presentation, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. But before the presentation, we can have some chit chat still to win some time. Μιχάλη, θα το βάλεις εσύ?
Δεν ξέρω. Peter, should I share the presentation with the others, or is everybody doing it by themselves? What is the procedure?
I think you can share it. Though it was said, but you can share it.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Michaelis, if you can you maybe send it as well? Because I don't have very good signal, and then I could see it.
Yes, I will also put it in the chat. If you want, you can download it. Give me 1 second to open it.
Thank you very much.
Alex, can you give me the opportunity, the nice opportunity to share my screen?
I would be glad if I could, but it doesn't give me this chance, so I will share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes, perfectly.
Thank you. Okay, so here's the case study of Masai Mara, Kenya. Peter, whenever you want, you can add your comments with your local experience. So we see that Masai Mara is one of the main tourist destinations in Kenya and one of the most recognized tourist places in the world, and being recognized, as it states there, as the 7th wonder of the world due to the annual wild animal migration.
And also the Maasai tribe is very famous in Greece because there was a pop singer who made a song about the tribe. And yes,
we're
Alex,
not proud of that.
continue.
We're just not proud of this misinformation.
No, this is not good information.
We're not proud, but
it's part of history.
To share everything. We need to be transparent. So the characteristics of the Mara region: each activity carried out in the Mara region is vital for the development of economic livelihood of the Maasai community, which are headers and living in manyatas. They rely mostly on handicrafts sold to tourists visiting the Masai Mara National Park. Whoever wants to add comments and interact while we are doing this presentation, it's good.
Yeah, these Maasais are just herders, or we call them pastoralists here in Kenya. They move from one place to another place. Mostly they keep livestock animals like cattle, and but as Julius presented in the main meeting, they have now adapted to the modern life, maybe trying to put up modern houses. But in most cases, you get those manyatas, those just small huts made of grass, the grass thatched, and most of them are made by women. So this handicrafts is one of the main activity. Even if you come to the Mara, Masai Mara, which is the main national park in Kenya, where tourists flock every year, especially during that wildebeest migration, you will find most of those handicrafts there. Thank you.
Okay, so the Maasai tribe is arguably, as it states here, the most recognizable collective on the planet, characterized by traditions and values that date back decades and distinguished by eye-catching clothing and ornate jewelry. The Maasai have occupied swathes of land in Kenya and the Great Rift Valley for centuries. And here it says that Maasai men and women have distinguished roles within the community and males take on different jobs from females from a very early age. As Maasai women, jewelry making and Maasai necklace craft is a skill that is integral to growth and development, and females learn to make Maasai necklaces and handmade craft at an early age.
So for years, the Maasai practiced pastoralism. Livestock was their only source of income, and they would rely on milk from their cows and goats, as well as the sale of livestock to sustain the family's needs. But because of hot and arid conditions that affected the land, they had to turn to the women in order to repurpose one of their traditions, which is beadwork. So basically, because there was problems with the animals and the land that they occupied, they had to turn to the women in order to support their income. So basically, they took one of the traditions that they had and had to repurpose it in order to survive economically. So the women, they had to value the culture and promote it in order to earn income. So women empowerment centers began to emerge, where women could come together to make beads and find a market for beadwork. So now hundreds of women earn an income through beading at these centers, and hundreds more bead from home, and they have the beadwork delivered to the centers. For example, to date, only in the Nara community, more than 1,400 women are able to earn a living through beading. Very nice. The Maasai girls are taught jewelry making techniques by their mothers and other female relatives from an early age. So from mother to daughter, it goes. They use age-old threading and weaving techniques. The beads are joined together to form pieces that document the individual tale of the tribe member. So it is a very personalized art, as you can see. Probably it's family or it's part of the tribe. They have their own custom, more specialized customs, and they put it in the necklaces. So from the necklace, it's possible to determine the wearer's age, if they're married, if they have children, and everybody wears jewelry, but it's only made by females. And before marriage, girls tend to wear large disc-shaped necklaces. On the wedding day, women wear a large elaborate necklace, which can stretch down to the knees. Okay, so you can tell a lot by looking at one of these necklaces.
Yeah, this is quite kind of famous, no? It's very distinguishable, this kind of necklace. I know, Peter.
Yes, what do you say?
About the necklaces, that they are very famous, this kind of design.
Yes, they're actually made and we are able to distinguish, able to tell maybe they come from which age set. You know, there are those maybe who are in this particular age, maybe they're still, maybe they're teenagers, there are those who are 20 years, 30 years, you're able to tell their age. And even whether they're married or not, from the way they put on those necklaces and even their designs. So it's a kind of, you're able to recognize who they are, you're able to identify them, and even where they are coming from, or where they're married, or even their villages, because most of them live in villages. So from the Maasai themselves are able to tell just by looking at the necklace, the identity of that particular person, and they're able even to link them to a particular group within that locality.
And can I ask something, Peter?
Yes, please.
Because before you were saying that there were actually, like they were taking from natural resources and they were making the necklaces.
Yes.
But now it's more
you are breaking
materials, and I was seeing how vibrant the colors are. What do they use?
And you are breaking. Would you mind repeating the question? And maybe because of network, you are breaking.
I was wondering, because Julius before was saying that all of these techniques, they were more based on natural and native resources, but now they have been using more toxic materials. And then I see the color of the pigment, and I was wondering what material do they use in order to dye these vibrant colors, these necklaces, for example, the blue, the red, they're very distinguishable in the eye.
Yeah. In the past, they were using these natural materials, but nowadays, I think because of industrialization, they're able to get maybe some from the market, like maybe plastics, maybe some of them are beads that have different colors. Then they know how to sew them neatly together to come up with a final product that, like the one you can see on that particular skin. So for now, I think maybe there are some byproducts, maybe that come from maybe nearby industries that they're able to get maybe a few plastics here and there. So the kind of handicraft they make right now are totally different from what they used to make in the past. I think because of, again, modernization and industrialization, and they come in different colors, then they know how to match them together to come up with that particular end product.
Okay, so the primary material, the first material, the Maasai people now buy it or get it from somewhere else, and then they make the patterns. But in the old times, they used to make all the process from the beginning to the end.
Yes. They used to make from beginning to the end, maybe from their locality where they were, maybe from the forest where they were, they could be able to get them. But right now, they're buying them.
Okay. So, like, how does this market go, for example? Like, do they have specific prices? Like we have here, you buy bulk, you buy a lot of prices, so you don't have like retail. Like, is it financially, I don't know, like good for them, like thinking about how much they're going to sell it after, or is this not a good price?
Basically, it depends on the kind of products you are buying. It also depends on how many you are buying. And again, it depends on where you're buying them from, because again, there are those which are sold in Nairobi, which is like the capital city, or maybe in big towns. Obviously, in those towns, the price is high as compared to maybe to buying from them from the source where they're making them, like in Masai Mara, a place called Narok where they live. Maybe if you go to the national park, the Masai Mara National Park, where tourists are coming from, definitely they'll sell it for you at a very high price. Because again, that's a place that is blocked by people from other towns, like where I am, or maybe from other countries, like yourself, if you're visiting there. So definitely, if you buy from, it depends on where you're buying them at. Again, we have Kiro shops. Kiro shops are these shops that are in big towns that specifically sell those handicrafts or those products. Again, you buy from them, they are actually at a particular price. Again, there are those people who actually sell these products are not necessarily the Maasai who make them. So there are those people who, the traders, they go and buy them from the Maasai themselves. Then they come and sell them in their shops. So they could buy from them at a cheaper price, but then come and sell it in their shops at a higher price, because again, they're in business. Or even some could even facilitate the Maasai to make those products maybe by ensuring that they buy for them materials, they make for them, they pay them, and then they're able to come and sell them in their shops, probably to make a living or to make an income that can be able to sustain them.
Okay, that's good.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
And it's great to have you here and share your experience with us. As you were talking, we were passing the presentation, and we've seen some positive and negative aspects of the handicraft sector of Maasai. So in many chances, they get the chance to have a bigger market because of the tourists. But as we see in many other cases, that in the end, the Maasai's image is used stereotypically to promote an image, a touristic image, but the benefits of this touristic sector rarely goes to them. So the earnings and all are used by others. And this is where we go back to this model of community-based tourism, how we can organize ourselves, the community, in order also to have a sustainable way of promoting tourism and also to receive the earnings of our activity. Also here it is stated that sometimes the focus is lost. So instead of focusing on the traditional way of creating things and in quality, we focus more in quantity. And so it is also lost the traditional way of doing things. And you give a more superficial product. Mihaly?
So maybe there is a factory in China right now which is making like fake Maasai handicrafts, and maybe some big company in Nairobi buys it and they sell it as original, you know. So you need to find a way as a community to protect this quality that you offer, so that it's not industrialized as much.
Yes, in fact, we have fake products in the market. And you are right, some of them could be being manufactured in China and brought back to Kenya. And they know Kenyans will buy them because they want to identify themselves with that culture.
Yes. So now that we saw this very nice case from the Maasai community, now we have to discuss whether we think that the Maasai case involves the 5 axes of handicraft. So maybe we can also see this. Yes, Alex. I think, and you do. It's amazing. Yes.
And I would like also to, while we're doing this, to think of any similar models in Greece that we might have.
Okay, so maybe we should go one by one to see if this represents the case that we saw. What do you think? Okay, so I take it that you agree, since there was no disagreement. So let's see, the first one, knowledge that has been inherited and responds to the needs of the communities. So do you think that the Maasai case represents this?
Yes, it does. I mean, you were saying about mother to daughter knowledge before, so I assume that it's inherited. But to the needs of the communities, I don't know if, well, I guess that there is social identity needs that are being expressed by the this selection of works that they're doing. So I guess that, yeah, it speaks to the needs of the people too.
Yes, and we also saw that they had to do it because the livestock, let's say, industry was failing because of the circumstances. So they had to do it. The need of the community was to make money, basically, to survive. So they had to go this way.
So in this Padlet, I would ask, as we have 4 more minutes, everybody to write their opinion about one of the axes, and as Mary has already proposed, and if you can add to the link that I have sent you to Padlet, your ideas. Is it okay?
Okay, if you want, I can write what we just said. So maybe Alex, you can go to the second
yes,
and discuss this. Thank you.
Yes. Eleni, what do you want?
Can you go again to the 5 axes?
Okay, yes.
Ωραία. Λοιπόν, symbolic support of customs beliefs. I would go, if you don't mind, to the light blue that says symbolic support of customs beliefs, rituals, way of life. In this one, I would say no. In my understanding from the presentation, we saw that the women just follow what they have learned from their families, but it's not considered as a way of life. So they have fallen in this trap to just sell a product. So from my side, it's no to the light blue and to the green one. So it has lost a little bit the sense of creativity and keeping the heritage. It's more about productivity in that point.
But you know, maybe we should define about handicraft made for the people and handicraft made for the tourists. Because what you're saying, I agree, but I think maybe it's handicraft for tourists more than for the village, right?
No, yes, indeed. I mean, if we consider that they still follow, as we saw in the presentation, that they are creating those jewelries before marriage and, you know, like mom to child, yes, okay, indeed. Regarding the part that we discussed about the tourism, this is what I was mentioning.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point because not almost all the axes actually are valid if we're talking about the crafts that they were doing and keep on doing for themselves. But almost none of them is valid if we're talking about selling to tourists. So what are we talking about?
Yeah, I agree as well. It's good to distinguish the purpose. And let's go now in the last plenty of time we have, 1 minute and 30 seconds. Do you have any ideas quickly of similar models that we follow in Greece that have this ambiguity of, you know, the culture being carried in personal reasons, but in the touristic reason being, you know, exploited and losing the character?
We have the semedakia here. Our grandmas are learning are teaching ladies only how to make semedakia, which is really nice to put on your TV. And I think in the touristic area, we can sell those ones, yes.
And now with the flat screens, it's getting more difficult, so it needs more exceptional talents to...
You need to find other surfaces to put the semedakia.
Does any of you have a semedaki right now so we can show Peter the...
Yeah, no, but I want to find the photo online to show him because, yeah, he will laugh.
Wait.
You have 20 seconds to do so.
Here you are, Peter.
Oh, it has a COVID semedaki right now. Wow, that's amazing.
Oh.
So it's good to, you know, to adapt adapt tradition according to the current needs.
Yes, yes, yes. I can see.
So this goes into...
I googled semedaki car, and actually somebody has covered their whole car with a semedaki.
Here there is some photo. That's good.
Wow, that's nice.
Okay, guys. So I think we're going back to the breakout room. Michali, do we have everything we need here? Yeah, yes.
Well, I did my best. I did my best.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much, Peter, for providing your input, and see you in the big room.
Yes.
Thank you, and you're welcome.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, thank you.
Please, Julius.
Yeah, welcome everybody. We are all back in the main room. So we want to proceed to the next step whereby we are going to have groups making presentation. So each group, I'm sure you appointed is one person who will be doing the presentation. Let's begin with the group number 1. Let's hear your discussions and the points you came about. Welcome.
Okay, so we analyzed the 2 questions. So I will start with the main one. So our answer was, of course, yes. We think that the Masai system is actually fits the handcraft sector. So wait a second, that I open the Padlet tool. So yeah, we analyzed the fact that yes, for example, the art of bending in Masai culture is for sure an expression of creativity and the culture and the cultural heritage itself. And what is really curious is the fact that, for example, this intangible heritage is not included in the list of intangible heritage of UNESCO. Is not still included because a really nice thing to do, also to improve the economy of the place, could fight in a way to make that this intangible cultural heritage can be included in the UNESCO list. And then for sure, we think that the handcraft in Kenya, in Maasai community, is a form of social organization based on association and cooperativism. This is because especially women in this case are like teaching their art, their craftsmanship to the other members of the community, including also the minority. So there is a passing of knowledge from, you know, the older generation to the youngest one. And then I think that those were the main points of the first question. As regards the second one, yes, we find also some similarities with the Italian culture. We provided some example. So there is a similarity between Masai and the handicraft shepherds of Presepe in Napoli. They are both connected with the place, but the first one is more identical on the latter more, and the latter more touristic. Then also another member of our team underlined the fact that even in Italy, we gave a lot of importance to food, and even the art of making food is a way to stay together and to pass tradition. So for us, it's not important to sell the food we prepare, but just to share the tradition of our region or our country in general. And this is a very strong similarity we found with the community. And this is more or less everything, I think. Another very interesting we underline, yes, is that the crafts are sold not only to tourists, but also that are the main buyers of the craft. But there are also some companies, I think, that buy stocks of handcrafts to be sold. And that's all, I think.
Thank you for your presentation, group 1. Now let's go to group 2.
Okay, Carlos and Jesus.
Okay, we consider that they don't make the points because the women are not involved in the work, and his role is seen as secondary. So, and also they are losing his identity with the new merchandise that it's more cheap. So. And also they are not using recycled materials or something. They have many waste. So that's why don't consider. And the second question, it's answered by Jesus.
Okay, thank you. Yes, in the discussion, we find a same study case here applied from Mexico. I'm going to explain it simply. there is a place in Mexico called Mineral de Pozos, where the community work to transform raw materials and natural materials into musical pre-Hispanic instruments. At the same time, it involves the local people with the heritage, knowledge, and the participation in the explanation of the meaning of these instruments and the way they transform it and gave it a significant and deep use in the traditional music. We found this case is similar, and we have some good things of Maasai, like the cultural heritage that is one of the 5 concepts in the presentations, and we think that is so important for the communities to give another opportunities or many opportunities to involve the community and the tourism area to have a more sustainability tourism.
Okay, thank you, Group 2. Can we now have a Group 3 making the presentation as well?
Hello, this is Group 3. We had the Greek team, and we had Peter, who helped us and who told us a lot of things about the case study. So first, we discussed a little bit the case study. We went through it, and it is a very nice example of how something traditional can be used, can be repurposed when you need to create income for you, which was very interesting to see. And we had also a discussion about how it changes, how there is a big difference between the traditional and between the commercial. So when something becomes commercial, something traditional becomes commercial, then there are some challenges that happen. And this also became apparent in the discussion that we had about the axis. So I think Eleni and Mary and Irini, you discussed a little bit the difference between something touristic and something traditional. Can you explain?
Yes, Eleni, you would like to go first?
Okay, sorry, I have some noise now. Yes, we actually checked together that in Kenya, they still follow the tradition. So from grandmas to mothers and daughters, the tradition is going on, and still the handicrafts are surviving and they follow this. However, in some point, it is we saw that it is becoming a little bit commercial, as Michalis said. So it might be for themselves continue to be as a tradition, but from the other hand, it becomes commercial, and they just do it mechanically to make some income. So maybe they lose a part of understanding what it is, all this tradition. And I don't know if the rest of the girls want to add something.
Anyone from the other group who got something to add?
Oh, just to say that, for example, Peter told us one example that, you know, sometimes it's a stereotypical image of the Maasai handicraft that in the end might not be produced by them, but it might produced outside Kenya and being re-imported. And that is something that is also like, it's losing the meaning. So they're using the image, but in the end, it is not, the earnings don't go to them, and they're just using the stereotype behind it.
Yeah, and we also said that in the original handicrafts, so the necklaces and all the dresses and all that kind of stuff, especially the necklace, it's something very personalized. So from the necklace, if you look at it, you can see how old is the person, if they are married, if they have children. So this is not just a beautiful design, it can also give information about the specific person, the specific family, or the part of the tribe. So this means that if you make it commercial and you sell it in Nairobi, for example, imported from China, this is not something that conveys all this information, and it loses a lot of its authenticity, let's say. So we had this little difference between traditional and commercial in our discussion. And the Greek example, do we have it?
Yeah, if we can share the screen for a second.
Yes, yes. Okay.
And to note, this is Balkan, right, guys?
Yes,
Not
Balkan, not just Greece. Yeah. This is the semedakia, which is like I don't know, pieces of cloth which are
it's
made
lace. It's laced the thing. Yeah, I don't know.
It's
Lace.
basically crochet. It's called.
Yeah, so it is tradition in Greece that you put it in all the surfaces to cover up anything, even your car, as you can see. So I think that's it from our group. Okay. Yes, very nice. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so from our from the group one, yes, one of the things that we were analyzing is that how in the case of Maasai, the handicraft involves all aspects of the life of the community. So in this sense, also the change of the social system, no? From the pastoralist to the artisanal and involvement of women, it represents not only a change in terms of economical development or linked to the tourism or linked to the entrepreneurship or any kind of other sector, but in general, it involves a total systems, social system, economical system change. And I think that this is, the main difference. Just I think one similarity we found also, Eleonora, with in the southern of Italy, in another region called Puglia, where there is the production of a kind of pasta which is called orecchiette. It's very typical because in some community in Puglia region, the production of the pasta is not only a process about handicraft, about the production, but it involves the entire whole community in a place. It involves the whole families working in the production of the pasta and working in the selling and the involvement also of the visitors and tourists in this kind of production. So this is very interesting. Maybe it's not totally a social element like Maasai, but in some kind it's very similar. We find this kind of similarity very interesting.
Can I add, I think, Antonio?
Yes.
The most interesting aspect in making this type of pasta in Puglia is that you not only can see the process, but as Antonio told, you are involved because the tables are in the middle of the alley, in the middle of the street. So people can go closer to table and can see the process very closer. So, for example, on the other hand, for example, the art of making presepe in Naples don't let you the process of a creation of a presepe, because in the process of a creation is at the back, at the back office, at the back of the shop, so you can't see. So the visitors are involved only in the selling, but not only in the process of the creation or in the process of seeing the art. That's in my way. So this is the main reason I put the example of making orecchiette in the south of Italy, but this is in my view.
Say something about this because I'm from that region. I don't think it's really similar for me because I mean it happens most just in Bari, in a few streets, not everywhere in my region. And I mean it's not, I don't think it's really like Maasai one, the Maasai tradition that involves all the territory of the Maasai, the province. So it's most something, yeah, it happens because these houses are on the street right away. So they used to do it on the street and the tourists were curious and they started to sell also to tourists. And yeah, but it's not really, I don't think so much. I don't know how to explain. I do it on my own. I can make it, and with my family it's a tradition as well, but it's not a thing, just in Bari.
I suggest to everybody that to see, okay, we see the similarity, but I suggest to all participants, to everybody here, that also, okay, just a brief note. We are discussing all these things because we have to start to understand how we can create the process of the model, of the circle model. And in this case, the Maasai is a very good practice that we can understand and acquire, especially because it involves the community in a very fully sense, in so different than maybe in the other communities in the rest of the world. So from this point of view, I think that the most important of this exercise is above all this, so to understand how it's different, to involve the community and involve the tourists, and to be part of the process. And in this case, the Maasai is for real an incredible good practice that we can acquire also and elaborate in the following steps of our process in the design of the cycle model in our communities. So we see how it's different to be part and to be just the viewer of a process. No.
Yes, in our team, we identify one aspect, important aspect. We think that the Maasai model is a very, very, very good model on the side of handicraft, but this model is until is to link it to the tourist sector in a good way. Because the tourism is not the tourism in Maasai communities is not the participant tourism with the community, with the women, with the process of the identity. It's like a superficial approach for them, but we need to separate two things, and in this project this is the point. We need to identify a way to create a model to balance the link between handicraft and tourism, and separate the commercial with like a Greek team says, from the cultural and the identity of the people. So this is important. I recommended you to read another time the case study, and to analyze very, very, very well the different points and separate the two things.
Okay, guys, just to remind you that okay, now I know that all of you has the account in the e-learning platform. From today, also you can access to the classes in the e-learning platform, where you can find the first forum question about the webinar number 2. in this week, you will find also the webinar at the forum about the webinar number 3. So today webinar. I ask you for you to join the forum and reply to make at first one answer you, and if you want, if you can discuss the questions, the answers of the other participants. So please use the classes also to make stronger the interaction between you, to share ideas, to share knowledge, etc. So it's a tool that you have at your disposal. So this is the first thing. And okay, in the e-learning platform, you have already the document of this webinar. Next week, you will find the documents for the webinar number 4. And okay, I know that the groups are working, also are organizing the one-day visiting in the community. You are working about the organizational aspect to analyze the community of the project. So have a good work. And okay, for me, it's enough. Just other two things. Julius, I don't know if you want to comment the final comment, you make a final content to comment to today. And as usually, one last picture with everybody.
For me, just to thank everyone for being part of the process of our discussion, the third webinar today. It is so wonderful to hear different views from different people from different perspectives that are geared towards coming up with a psycho model, because our aim is to create a psycho model, the aim of this project. This psycho model, it can later influence the policies that can also help uplift the lives of the Maasai people here in Kenya, plus other people all over the world who are also involved in handcraft sector. So it's a plus, because we believe the contents that we have been discussing, we are going to document them. So at the end of the project, we shall have some lessons, best practices that we can be able to share with the different stakeholders, even in our government, in the national communities, that can also be helpful to help the Maasai community. So thank you so much, and we look forward to having more talk, more discussion in the coming topics of the psycho projects under the webinar.
Thank you, Julius. Okay, guys, and now our picture. Okay, just in one. Just a moment. 1, 2, 3. Okay, just another. Just a moment. Okay, make a second, because you are a lot, so I have to screenshot two times. And 1, 2, 3. Great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. See you next week.
See you next week.
Hello, guys.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Have a great weekend, guys.